235 there, no further being 235, 235, 240, 250, 260, 260, 260 on this one here. I heard that, I could lip read as well as an ox here. And don't go metric to me either. At 260. 260 on that one there, 260, 270 on the back here, 270 there, 280. 280 on the one there, 280 on the one there, 280, 290 there. 290, enjoy the journey, 300 there as we go. 300 on the one there, 300 there. 300 on the one there, make a 10 if you like. 300. 300 on that one there, no further being 300. 300, 310, 320. 320 on that one there, 320. 320. Get up to 400 and do a dance. It's 320 on the one there, 320 on the one there, 320. 320 has only won the auction. 320. 320 there. No further being 320, you're all out. You're not happy, I can tell that. It's 320 over the back, that way there, 320. 330. 340. 340. 340 on the one there, 340. No further being 340. 340. Go and see you, hold your hand up. That's 340 out in the back. 340. 340. It's only money, you can't take it with you. Pay it by Visa, MasterCard. 340 over the back here, finish your 340 over the back here, 340 on the one there, 340 there, 340. Don't get consult with her, just buy it. 340 on the one there, 340. 340 on the one there, 340. She's only been in trouble all night. 350 on the back here, 350, 360 on the back here, 360 over here. 360 on the one there, 360 on the one there, 360. 360 on the one there. Shut up and listen to me. 360 over here. She said, oh, I'm going to make him pay for it. That's 360 here. 360, I'll take a 5, it helps you. 360 over here, all done at 360, everybody's happy. 360 once, twice, third and final time at 360, you're all out, I am selling, sold.
Going to talk about Studebakers, and here in Nelson they're having the Studebaker Nationals, and so I'm surrounded by Studebakers, and behind me are Studebaker Hawks, and they're all going to be judged in a section. Over there we've got more Studebakers in different periods, and older ones over there, trucks over there. So what we're going to do is wander around, and I'll find somebody to talk to me about their Studebaker and why they like their Studebaker, and a little bit of history about their particular car. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this little Studebaker special. With me is Tony, and Tony, this is yours.
Yep.
And what year is it?
1927. In fact, it's just had its 95th birthday on the 13th, 4 days ago.
So that's something like
95.
95.
It was first registered in Dunedin, 13th of April 1927. Yeah, not to our family, to a senior man down there.
Sure.
So my dad was able to buy it 18 years later. He needed a car for his family and high country run and work and so forth. And I can explain that. I know the exact day my dad brought that car, what he paid for it and everything. As it turned out, when he got back to Kuriau from Waimate and this,
yeah.
His mother-in-law sent him up to the cottage hospital. Oh, you better get up to the hospital, your wife's up there, just delivered you a son.
Oh,
me.
You.
That's how I know how long I've been in Studebaker's Bill. Absolutely, it's easy, isn't it?
That's absolutely.
And of course, easy. it was the family car, and it was the sheep runs, farm vehicle. So we've been together from exactly the same afternoon right through. So it was my daily driver when I was just turned 16, 17, 18, drove up to Nelson all over the show in a great old car. But then I got the opportunity to put it away on the farm in a spare garage for 20 years, and then they sold the sheep run, and I went down and got it on a trailer and brought it up to Matawaika where I live. So I got it absolutely pulled to 1,000 pieces, as you can imagine, for a complete restoration.
Yes.
Which it got.
What's the engine in it?
Yeah, it's got a 6-cylinder with our old flat tops,
Yeah, yeah.
spark plug sticking out the top,
Yep.
and it's 4 litre,
Wow.
whatever that is in
Yeah, pretty powerful.
It cruises. Yeah, no, it pulls well. It cruises down the flat road at speedo tells me 44 mile an hour. It's actually 50 mile an hour because I had one of the larks following me, and he said, and I asked him, and he said, no, we're sitting on 50 mile an hour. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah. Pulled his phone out, the aircraft engineer, and I've got this bizzo. So it cruises at that, but I drive it probably at 70 and 75 k's. And no one minds, I pull over if I'm holding up traffic. Yeah.
Good on you, Tony. This is a 1936 Studebaker Coupe, and it's been brought in from America, and the man who bought it wants to keep it as original as he possibly can, so he's not too interested in painting it. He just wants it to look like it is. Looks like it's got 3 speeds, very elaborate dashboard, a gauge, and a couple of little gauges around the bottom of the dash there. But the exciting thing is this back window actually got a little spinner on it. You crank it up and the back window will actually open up. Isn't that amazing? I don't think I've seen anything like that before, where the front windows will open up but not the back. So there you go. When I was a boy, my grandparents had a car like this. It wasn't a Studebaker, it was a Chev. But a lot of the cars of the 1930s had this shape about them, mudguards and a bonnet and what have you. But this is a 1937 Studebaker, the President, which is top of the range, and spare wheel, little locking nuts to hold the spare wheel in. This is a beautiful example of a 1937 Studebaker. Very nice, very nice. Next door, we've got a 1931 Studebaker. 1931, and I'm pretty sure this would probably be classed as a limousine. The back seat sort of in there, and the time you get in, you've got to sort of shuffle yourself to sit in the back. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. It's got a straight 8 engine in there, and I think they had straight 8s before they had V8s. So the straight 8 was a very popular engine for some of the bigger cars that were around in this period. But the headlights sort of oval shaped, lots and lots of bling. The mirrors sit on top of the spare wheel, so you can see what's coming behind you or backing up. So all in all, an absolute wonderful example of what happened in 1931. This is a 1940 Studebaker, and like the 1937 you saw just a moment ago, this has got that same look of the cars of the period, and it went through the 40s, and in the 50s they started to change. But the general look of these cars, like the Fords and the Chevs and the Chryslers and other cars, they all had the same look with the mudguards, engine, and looking very nice. This belonged to my mate Michael Cross. It's his family's car. We did an article on this car on the Billy Ho show not long ago, you might remember it. And the family went away in this thing, father driving, mother sitting there, kid in the middle, and a bunch of kids all sitting in the back, all heading off to town. Must have been wonderful back in those days with the dusty roads and all the rest of it. And I'm not sure what the suspension was like, but you know, sort of like we're off to Dunedin. Hooray, here we go. So the 1940 Studebaker. What we've got in front of us here is a Studebaker 1950 convertible. Absolutely stunning car, and I think that lives in the local car museum here in Nelson. So if you're down this way, you can see that car. Absolutely outstanding. And in the background, everybody's having their midday lunch, which was provided by the hotel. Little box of lunch, absolutely delicious. But I just thought I'd show you this bomber, this beautiful convertible bomber here at the Rutherford Hotel. And now we come to 1953. And in 1952, it was the 100-year anniversary of Studebaker, who started in 1852, and they wanted to get the tooling done so they could produce a brand new car in 1952. But they didn't get it done in time. And so what they did is just sort of put a new grille on the bomber model. And so from 1946 to 1952, that was the shape of the Studebaker. In 1953, this is the brand new shape, and you can see the cabin shape. And as we go through the 55 to 57, you'll see the same cabin shape within the cars. This is called a Land Cruiser, which means it's the top of the range. Studebaker Commander Land Cruiser, this is what this is called. And this is the only one in the southern hemisphere, which makes it quite rare. This one came to New Zealand in 1954, having been bought in America in 1953 and then shipped it here. So it says on here 1954, but a 1954 model's got little bars in the grille, whereas the 53 is just a straight grille. So this is a 53, and a wonderful example of 53. It's been done up. It's got a V8 engine in there, and she's a pretty good example of 1953. We come to 1955, and in 1955 they started with the wrap rail windscreen, which a lot of the cars of 55, 56, 57, 58 had. And when you get in these things, there's room for your knees to go underneath the corner of the windscreen. This has got plenty of chrome, so obviously Studebaker are getting a few more dollars, and so they've increased the chrome look on the 55. What happened during the war is all the chrome was hard to get, and so a lot of the cars of that time never had chrome. So coming forward, the chrome's become available, and here it is, lots of it. So this one's a looks like 3 on the tree, as it were. First, second, third, and reverse was back towards you and up. And it's got an aeroplane on the front, just to give it that bit of zooming along sort of look to it. Yeah, so, yep, looks lovely. This is a lovely colour. I think it might be called salmon.
Salmon, yep.
Yeah, it just suits it down to the ground. A 1955, more chrome, big aeroplane on the front. Did they come with aeroplanes on the front? That was standard?
The President Commander came. I think the 6-cylinder one was devoid of that.
Oh, right.
But then the Speech, they had a different one again. It had a long, narrow one that came down, and also had spares on the guards.
Yeah, wow.
But this is a pillared coupe as against a hardtop.
Oh, okay, yep. So this isn't right, it's just a standard.
Yeah. Has a B pillar.
That back window opens, little flick out, let the smoke out.
yeah, for the smokers,
Yeah.
And
quite a tidy car here, isn't it?
it is. And the thing is, the roof line, as you'll see, it goes up. And the original designer, Bob Burke, he said we did that because people wore hats.
Oh,
So they had to have room for the hats in the car.
yes. Very correct. Yeah, 1955, 1940s. We went to the races.
That's right.
Yeah, because the races was just and just a sea of hats.
That's right. Yeah. And suits.
And suits, yeah, everybody got dressed up. Even got dressed up to go to town, just on the bus.
Yeah.
We went to the farmers, had to get dressed up.
Dressed up, yeah.
Even though we were upstairs riding around on the pedal cars and whatever, yeah. Mum went shopping, all lovely, dressed up, lovely. Yeah.
Now, this is a very nice example, original example.
Exactly.
Of 55.
Lovely. This is 2 years on from the 1955 to 1957. And in 1957, they've still got the same sort of cabin shape, an enormous bonnet, a completely different grille. And this one's a Studebaker Champion, which basically means it's got 6 cylinders, and I'm sure it did well in its time. Another thing to note about the 57 is the dashboard. It's got the gauges, and then above the gauges it's got this little, what I call the tape measure speedo, like the Model A's had. All the numbers go round and round and round telling you how fast you're going. So that was one of the features of the 57. So here we have a 1937 Studebaker. Now the special thing about this is they didn't actually make utes in 1937. So the man that owns this has got a 1937 sedan, and he's chopped it down, built the ute back onto the back of it, This has got a V8 in it, which they probably didn't have in 1937 either. So he's custom made this to look absolutely stunning. So good on him. There's some real innovative Kiwis in New Zealand, and this is the sort of thing they can do. With me is Trev Halstead, and Trev, you're a Studebaker fanatic, I have to say. Everything on this property has got Studebaker written on it somewhere.
That's correct, mate.
And you specialise in doing up people's cars, or at least you used to.
Yes.
Now, this was at the Nationals, and I just see this enormous arrangement sticking out the top of the bonnet there. Perhaps we could just start there. Just tell me about all that.
Okay, that's an old Edelbrook TR2 tunnel ramp. It was made in the 60s. It's in a traditional sort of a style of the car that it sits on, and it sits on top of a 489 big block Chev.
Really? That's about as big as they get, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, they're bigger now, but it's big enough for me.
So, if we can have a look at that just shortly, but the whole car you've redone, you've started from scratch and made it what it is here.
Yeah, this car's a ground up rebuild. She was a very, very rough car. At the time I brought it, it was the only one in the country, and I chased it for quite a long time, followed it from place to place. About 2.5 sheets of panel steel have gone into her.
Wow.
She was pretty rotten. She was used to back a boat into the sea.
Oh, really?
I've actually got photos of it.
Wow. I see on the front door there it says Starlight, and that's what
Yes,
it is? A 1953 Starlight.
This is a 1953 Studebaker Starlight. It's a Starlight coupe, and they have pillars on the B panel,
Oh, yeah.
whereas the Starliner coupe is a hard top.
So that has all the windows come down and you've got a big space.
That's right, yeah. It
Yeah.
looks like a convertible just about.
So the body shape has this gone on to sort of, suddenly the Hawk appeared?
Yeah.
And is this the reason for the Hawk?
Yes, the Hawk is an evolution of this car. The year after, in 1955, they made a car called the Speedster, and then they evolved onto the Hawks from 1956, which is like my Skyhawk, onto 1961, where they changed again. But it was a similar body shell that they used.
Right, so a lot of Hawks, there's a silver Hawk, a golden Hawk, a this Hawk, that Hawk, blah, blah, blah. The range of Hawks is quite phenomenal, really.
Yes, in their first year in 56 they brought out, the two popular ones are the Skyhawk and the Golden Hawk.
So with the Hawks, I mean, you've got to consider that Studebaker are slowly going broke. And so the fins on them were pretty much similar to this, but in order to sort of make the fin like the 1957, 58, everything had fins.
Yes.
I think they just made a fiberglass fin and just plonked it on.
Yeah, some had fiberglass, some had steel, and yeah, they were basically riveted on and then a chrome moulding put over it.
And then painted.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's just interesting, folks. Studebaker folded in 1966, and so I think they were pretty much struggling the whole way through. And maybe, just as my tuppence worth, but maybe they had too many a model, and then they had sort of variations on that model. Sort of two-door convertible. You had a lot of choice.
Yeah, there was a lot of variations. If we go back to this year, for example, they made not enough of these. They couldn't supply the demand for them. There was so many orders, so people decided to drop their orders and go buy a Thunderbird or something else.
Right.
Whereas they had geared up the factory to do sedans. So it was a bit of a mismanagement there.
Right.
These are very, very collectible now. There's a lot more coupes, etc. in the States that have been rebuilt than there is sedans. You're lucky enough to have a 53 Land Cruiser, which is an extremely rare car now, because no one saved the sedans.
Oh, okay.
They all saved these.
Yeah, wow. There's a section called modified.
Yes.
And so this is what is commonly known as a modified.
This definitely fits into that section. Yeah, she's well modified.
With me is Terry Colville, and Terry's the president of the New Zealand Studebaker Drivers Club. And Terry, this is a cruiser. Maybe just tell me the difference between a cruiser and a lark.
The Americans they didn't call the cruiser a lark. It was just purely a cruiser. But the New Zealand assembled lark were called lark cruisers, and they have a nameplate lark on the front left hand and right hand fenders.
Yep.
But the Americans are different. They also had the opening vent windows at the back
Oh yes. Yep.
functioning,
Yep.
and the 5 little flutes on the seat pillar.
Is that did that allow air in?
No,
Or is
it's
it
just ornamental.
ornamental?
And
Yeah,
also the bumper bars had the extension pieces on the ends of the guards. Bumper
just
bars,
a couple
I
of
should
little
say.
knobs here to
Yeah.
put it on. Yeah.
And it had a different interior to the New Zealand assembled.
Those seats look relatively comfortable, I
Yeah.
have to say.
They're not factory though. They're aftermarket.
Oh, okay.
So this is a very nice car though.
Yes. Terry, this is it's got shades of the 1950s cabin.
It has,
like the door shape, and it's just like they've sort of put a new front and a new back, but just kept the
centre
similar.
section.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a 61 Lark, and it's a short wheelbase Lark. And this is a 109-inch wheelbase. The others were 113-inch wheelbase, and the longer ones were called Lark Cruiser.
Right. Yep.
So this is quite a unique wee car. This
And the reason they made it short?
an option for the buyer.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. It's just lots of options.
Yeah.
I got to say, Studebaker did that. They had
Yeah.
lots and lots of options.
Options, yeah.
Convertible, short, long, in the middle, V8, 6.
Land Cruisers.
They go on
Yeah.
and on and on.
But
Yeah.
they especially the Larks. I mean, the Americans just call them all Larks.
Right.
Whether it's a Daytona or whatever, it's
Yeah,
called a
yeah,
Lark.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they had specific names for each model. So,
Right.
and this is quite a unique wee car. This.
Excellent. Terry, as we were talking about before, you had a choice.
Yep.
And you had, one of these, you can have a convertible, which is very, very nice and sort of streaming along. Wind in your hair, Sheila on the other side of you, you can't
If
go
you're
wrong.
lucky.
But this is a lovely little car.
It is. It's. I bought it in 1997, and had it ever since. And it's just a lovely wee car on the road.
Yeah.
It's once again a short wheelbase, 109-inch wheelbase,
Yes.
and it's just called a Lark 8.
Lark 8, is that because it was the 8th model up? Or is
8
it
cylinders.
8? Oh, really?
The 6 cylinders were called Lark 6s.
Oh, okay. So V1.
Yep. Has electric hydraulic mechanism to take the top down and back up.
Wow. That's flash.
Eh?
That's really flash, yeah. And it's got a V8 in it?
V8, yep.
Yeah. What? You know,
259.
okay, the usual.
Yeah. And it's got 3-speed and overdrive, and it just goes along the road really lovely.
So when you're in number 3, is it a kick down? You just sort of boot the accelerator and it kicks up?
Kicks back up top gear.
Yeah, wow. Lovely. Terry, this car is a bit older than that one, or younger?
1 year older.
Older.
Yeah.
So this is pretty flash. It's got chrome, though it hasn't.
No.
It's got a different sort of a flute with just a hole, and that seems to have a bit of a
and
grill.
it's chromed,
And it's
whereas
chrome.
that one's painted.
Okay.
Also, the grille shell is different. If you look at the texture
Yep,
compared to the 63,
Wow.
just subtle changes they made.
Yeah,
through
yeah.
it.
You bought a Cortina for, so a 1960 model, and then the next model was exactly the same,
Same.
except it had a different grille.
Yeah.
And that's how they got around sort of making the next model. It's got a different grille, so like it or lump it. And you think that's what's happened here with the...
Just subtle changes to make
Yeah.
a difference between each year.
Yeah, wow.
And the 64 GT hook has got subtle differences again in the front.
Oh, have we got one here?
None here, no.
Terry, this says Gran Turismo on the side. And what year is this?
This is a 1963 Gran Turismo. Hawk.
63.
Yeah.
So have they built this to try and sort of boost up the sales, sort of get themselves back on side?
They were going to stop producing the Hawk, the winged Hawk, in 62 they weren't going to have a Hawk. And then they got the designer, Brooke Stevens, he got it and he's changed the hood, changed the roof line,
Yep.
and just went back to the no wings and back to the pure sort of the 50s and created a different looking car again
Yep.
from the same start in 53.
Yeah, right. Well, I see it's still got a 53 windscreen.
Yeah. Windscreens are the same from 53 to 64.
Oh, well, there you go. You learn a new thing every day, folks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, awesome. Now we're coming forward to near the end of Studebaker. So this is a 65.
65, yes.
And it's got that flat look that a lot of cars had in the 60s.
60s, yep.
Yeah, and behind us here is the 66, which is the end.
The end. That's the end of the one, yeah.
Yep,
Made in Canada.
made in Canada.
And that's made in Canada too.
Oh, did they have a branching? Oh, I think they did.
Yeah, Hamilton, Ontario was
Oh, okay.
they made the last 2 years of production was in Canada.
Wow.
That's why they used the GM 283 Chevy motor.
Oh, okay. So they've gone away from the Studebaker.
Well, they
block.
shut the foundry down
Oh,
once they
so
closed it in
it's
South
there.
Bend. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that must have been a sad day for people who worked there for years and years and years.
Oh, absolutely disastrous for the city
Yeah.
because they employed most of the people.
That's South
Yeah,
Bend.
South Bend, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. So now we come to the Avanti, which is, I think, an attempt by Studebaker to be really completely different. You know, with a car that sort of, I think it holds all sorts of speed records.
It does, yeah.
And I don't know if they've been beaten or not, but that's a feather in their cap, having something that goes that quick. It says supercharged, 289 supercharged V8 in there. The odd thing about it is just two headlights and not much of a grille.
No, yeah.
Do you think that's what frightened the customers?
It has people who either like it or they hate it, right?
So there's no in
no
the middle.
between, no in between. But I didn't like them when they first came out either.
Oh,
because
okay.
It wasn't traditional Studebaker.
No,
But
no.
after being in one, driving one, and being around it, I grew to love them.
Terry Colville and Tony McKinnon to please come up. So Tony will call the awards and Terry will hand them out, and Jeff will hand the trophy to Terry.
Okay, let's talk about the Nelson Nationals awards today for this lovely Easter weekend. So we'll kick it off. Slightly embarrassing. There's Class B Vintage. First in class is Tony McKinnon with the 1927 Dictator. It's quite a fault, obviously, because I was the only one in the class, wasn't I? How do we do? Next we go to with Class C, which is pre-war. So runner-up, second in class for the pre-war is Mike Cross with the 1940 champion.
Oh, well done.
But wait, there's more. First in class with Class C pre-war is Graham Humphreys and the 31 president. Move right along. Class D is called post-war, and the first in class in that is Mr. Ian Mortimer with his 1951 delightful maroon. Class C, which we call post-war late, and the second class in that class is our delightful Bill Hohepper with the 1953 Land Cruiser.
I don't know how to take it.
Okay.
Well done, Colin. Well done.
Billy, we'll do a photo after.
So he was first in
okay.
class, the post-war jobs. Andrew Dyer with that beautiful 57 champion. Andrew.
Just take this photo.
Turn round.
Next up we've got Class F. Class F is the those very popular lark cruisers through the years there. Second class in that is that lovely green Sean Everest with the 63 lark. Sean.
Photo, son? Yeah, that's it.
Good on you.
And the first in class in that is Tony Harmer with his 63 lovely lark. Tony. Okay, moving right along to Class G, which is that 64, 66 cruisers, the most model shape. The second class in that class this weekend is Brian Murphy in that lovely black 65 cruiser. Which leads us to in the same class for the 64, 65 cruisers. The first in class, Steve Pickett in the 66 cruiser.
Well done. Well done.
Wait for a photo. coming in. Class H, which is the coupes, hard tops division, and the second class in that, rather new car, Murray Foley. Well done with the 55 Commander. Murray. First in class with those lovely cars is Ted McGuinness with his black and white 55 Commander. Ted.
Well done, Ted.
Class J is those lovely fin hawks, one end to the other. Second in class, Trevor Halstead 56, the Skyhawk, that beautiful car. And looking for first class in the same with the Jayhawks is Mr. Neville Harbour and their beautiful Golden Hawk, the 58. Only 58 Golden Hawk. Okay, so here we go with Class K, which is the GT Hawks. So the second in class in that, from the judges, is Mr. Ross Campbell with his lovely 63 GT. Ross, come on.
Few words, Ross.
Thank you. First in class with the GTs, Rex Wheeler, the 1963 GT. Rex. 62, I guess.
Few words, Rex.
Class L is the Avantis. The second in class is our Paul Crook with the 63. Class L Avanti, first in class, Sharon Cole.
No monkey business.
Oh, we all want hugs. Cheers up.
Oh, Sharon.
Moving away from the cars a little bit into the commercial, which is Class N, we've got Mr. Lester, I reckon, first class with the Transstar, 56 Transstar. Still in commercial. Let's go and look at Class P commercial. So the second class in that is another local, Dave Stone, Dave and Dale. Who's going up? Come on. 62 champ. The 62 champ. And the first in Class B commercial, with the 1964 blue champ is George Banklow. Oh, pretty car, I'm missing all those video bucks. Class Q, which is our modified custom style And second in class is Tony Charles, that 37 Coupe Express. Tony. Let's have a look at Class Q, which is the modified custom group of cars. And first in class, we've just done Tony. Would you believe Trevor Helsted, the 53 Starlight? Trevor! You. A couple of sort of smaller physically items are Class R, and they're Studebaker related, one like the other, even, well, literally or with a bit of imagination. Second in class in that, Tony McKinnon's got a model of the 1852 Conestoga. I don't know whether you all saw it or not. It's in with the yellow bomber there. And I was in America and it was booking out at a hotel. I just had to have that period at home. Second class, Tony McKinnon. But the thanks, Doctor. But in class, after my big long story, first in class is Lester, I reckon he's got their own end generator, which you may have seen parked beside the pickup truck over the weekend. Lester John. Moving right along with the top of the South Nationals that we've been going with here, we have the People's Choice, and this refers to all the crowd that were in the yard on Saturday during the concourse. There was, all us guys and quite a lot of visitors. Although having said that, we were lucky to have gotten some because it was only a couple of days before that Jacinda let us in to let the public in, if you understand. So anyway, People's Choice on Saturday with the public and us guys was for Neville Harper with his 1958 Golden Walk.
Oh, you got there. No, they've done through a lot.
Now, the longest driven in a Studebaker, guess what? It's Mr. Bill Hohecker in his 53 Land Cruiser. Long drive. Good one, though. Yeah. The furthest distance from home, like physically, get on the map, was of course to Graham Humphreys, who actually came the furthest physical distance from where they live to Nelson. Graham. From Tiana. The best Studebaker, as the judges called it, Neville Harper with the 58 Golden Hawk. Yes, it's the highest, from all the judging, the highest points total. It's to the, where they become on. Yes, that's. finally, we've got, would you believe, Mr. Trevor Halstead and Diane have got some beautiful trophies with them. And I'll call them out as we get along. That's where one in the various. So for the best interior of a car, for Trevor's, we're going to go to Trevor Halstead's to the 53 star. Trevor. Beautifully handmade stuff here, mate. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Another big smile, Trevor. Good on you.
For the best paint judged is for Trevor Halstead, and this is by the other judges. For the 53 Starlight, once again, not hard to figure out. This is all by judges that did the overarching for the whole lot, and the numbers and so forth. So it's absolutely genuine. Thank you. Well done. And without embarrassing a tradesman of the best, for the best engine bay is Trevor Halstead once again. For the 53.
What a
Well,
choke.
let you book it down.
That is a choke.
Come on, mate. Come on. Diane. Serves you right for making such beautiful cars look even more beautiful, Trevor Halstead. Thank you for that. Still more trophies you watch from the same generous Trevor. The top of the car, the Nelson Mead, by the judge's account once again, is actually for Neville Harper for the 58 Golden Hawk. Having scored the most judged points against him. Today at lunchtime, we had another, us guys have realised, we had another People's Choice run. And that was, like devoted because it was us guys there, no public, you understand. So this is for today's public choice, which we did. And how about that the winner of that is Mike and Barbara with the 61 ball.
Oh, really?
Yes, really does. Come on, Barb. Come on.
Oh, no, leave him to the ones.
Give him a hug.
And the hook wasn't even there.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be. I keep telling you.
That's of course Covenant.
But we-
Trevor,
yeah.
thank you very much. That beautifully made.
Oh, fantastic.
He's got a commemorative trophy for. It's the best. We put it into being the best survivor car at the show. So we're not saying that pretty is the best, the most money spent on. It's just a good old Studebaker survivor. And let's give that to Ray Wheeler with his 63 Cruiser.
Oh.
Ray! Good old honest car, Cobber. Well done for bringing it up from problems. Thank you.
Oh, we back.
Yeah, you keep it he says. So that sort of brings to the end of the Nelson Nationals Awards for April 2022. After, that step we had to have from 20, but that's all right. Well done all you competitors and trophy winners, and thank you very much. I'll call on Terry to carry on with that. Thank you. Thanks, Tony.
Over the years, we have members who pay their subs every year, but we never see them. We have members who see them sporadically. We see members who see them often, and we have members who have, over the years, put a lot of time and effort into the club. And one such person, the committee has decided, we award him life membership. And I'd like to invite Mr. O'Regan up.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Right. Thank you. This is a superb surprise for me. I've been a member of the Studebaker Drivers Club since 1978. I was a Ford man before that. Most people say it's first on race day, but some people say it's driver returns on foot. And I was conned into buying a Studebaker by my brother, who was a fan, and never looked back really. And when I got my truck, I took a massive leap forward. For 20 odd years, I was a Transstar topics writer for the Distributor magazine. Then sadly my wife got a little bit ill, make that a big bit ill, and I stood down for a few months, but who knows, I might come back one day.
Well done, Mr.
But in the meantime, thank you Terry, thank you fellow club members, this is a great thrill. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
The next trophy to give out is called the Ambassador's Cup. And this cup was donated by the Ambassador of the United States. He was resident in New Zealand in the early 2000s. And his name was Charles J. Swindell. And he donated this trophy in remembrance to a very close friend of his who was a Studebaker enthusiast and was also a Studebaker club member in the States. And his name was Gene Brim. And the trophy is presented to people who have given great service over the years to the Studebaker Club, who've run meets, who've run nationals, and I'd like to invite Rex Wheeler up to be the recipient of this trophy.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Say a few words. How long have we got? I just heard Lester saying that he was blown away, and I think I've been shot further than you, Lester. Thanks very much. One of the things about the Studebaker Club, especially up our way, if I can say to the raucous table over that way, is the fact that it started that it was the cars that pulled us together, but now it doesn't matter what we turned up in or what event we go to, it is actually about the people, and I think that's really cool. So thank you Studebaker Club for doing a lot for my late wife and I. We really enjoyed our times, and wow, that's yeah, blah blah. Thanks so much.
Lastly, I'd like to thank Morton's team on behalf of everybody here for his efforts to run this Nationals. It started 6 years ago, and he had it organised for 2020, and as we all know, that was cancelled. But not only that, he had to change venues, renegotiate the whole deal, and luckily we are all here together. So I'd like to thank Morton and his team in the usual way for putting on this Nationals. Thank you very much. Hope to see you all in 2024 in beach lanes.
Yes. And how does Michael take photos? Because he will grab Terry.
It doesn't really matter because I can get a photograph of this.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everybody, for coming along to the Nationals. That's about all we have organised for tonight. So, as I said in the morning, the good farewell morning tea will be just through those doors there from 10 to 11:30. and then if you're all packed up, you can just depart out into the car park and off.
Bugger off
So nice
home.
and easy, yeah. Yeah, so again, thank you very much to my little committee and to the staff here at the Rutherford, who everybody's been well impressed with. Yeah, I'll be passing on all our thanks to all our supporters and sponsors in the next few days, and paying the bills and all the rest. So yeah, till next time, the bills, into the island. See you later.
Thank you, Maud.